All right, vice presidents and above, happy Tuesday and happy 2025. Big congratulations to you. Come on, let's go ahead. Even though we're virtual, you can go ahead and clap for us all here, okay? Congratulations for being on. And obviously, we've got this going up in recording. I got a little bit of housekeeping as we kick this off, and I'm going to try to stay really on track today, okay? Because I got a lot to give to you, and hopefully this will add major value for you and your jump start to 2025, not only to you, but your organization, because that's why you're all here. Like the reason we did this for vice presidents and above is because you have active people in your downline that you can not only grow yourself, but you can help them grow. And so hopefully over the course of this year, this is going to be major value in a way that can help you and your team just excel from where you're at today to where you want to go. And I want to kick off a couple of things. Number one is the recording. So I originally had this to where it would be specifically for you guys on my YouTube channel, like unlisted. But I've had several requests on here to make the recorded version available for everyone so that people can leverage it amongst their team. Okay. If you have a problem with me making it public, please let Andrea Rosser know. Okay. But I'm having more that's requesting it to be public. And at the end of the day, I just want this to serve you. So however but some of your team is having trouble finding it being privately listed. So I just want to let you know that so you can let Andrea, if you have a problem with it being public, please let Andrea know. Okay. I think the live version is always going to be the best because it's you can get more involved with it when it's live. So, okay. Second thing is we have locked down swag. Okay. And we're going to talk just a second about that. But we have locked down the swag for the Millionaire Matrix. And the third thing is in Destin will be the first place. Haley Lee is doing a Discover Partner Co at the end of the month. Haley, if we have it available by then I will bring it with me. Okay. So basically with this swag, what I'll do is we will use this and leverage this at our events to get it to the people of the Millionaire Matrix. Okay. So y'all are going to love the swag. So I want to welcome everybody, and we have got a lot to share with you today. So we're going to get right to the PowerPoint. Okay. So you can see that we're going to go back and forth with the interactive board today and the PowerPoint. So as always, Andrea, thanks for sharing. All right. So if you're brand new, first of all, I want to welcome all of our vice presidents and above. So if this is your first Millionaire Matrix, you made it because you achieved the rank of vice president or higher. Congratulations to you. As your teams rank advanced to vice president, we want to add them to this club. Okay. We want to add them to this community. We're going to brand ourselves, as you can see, the Millionaire Matrix, because we want this group to be about commitment and excellence in our profession. And what I see, thank you for that, Andrea, is everybody has to get their mindset right first as far as what they want to achieve in this profession. We'll talk about that in a minute. As you can see, some of our swag. Andrea, are we okay? Okay.
We're good. I was trying to read you. I thought you wanted it down. So sorry.
No, I'll let you know. So remind you on our swag, we've actually got, Andrea, is it okay if I tell everybody like what I think we have coming? I actually think we have some exclusive hoodies like coming to you. And this is just my way of just wanting to shower you with gifts to say you are so important and you're a leader in this company. Like we value you. Okay. So we've got that coming in, and obviously Destin. If you're coming to Destin, plan on Wednesday night. We're locking down the space. We'll get to spoil you at that event on Wednesday night. More details to come for that in Destin. Okay, next slide. I got a question, two questions for you today, and I want you to think about this. I want you to write it down and really ponder it, if you will, okay, throughout this today. Number one is, what's one thing, if I were to reach out, if I were to look at, Sheila Balkowski, if I were to look at Glenda Watson or Diane Blue or Dawn Grisham or Julie Bradshaw, I go around the room, Buffy Wallen, Mary Catherine Ewing. What is one thing this profession gave you in 2024? Right? What about like Cynthia Bolden? What's one thing the profession gave you? Dr. Crystal Vance says time freedom. Maybe if you automatically know what that one thing is, it could be multiple, but put it in the comments. But I challenge you to write it down, because so many times in this profession, I see people that make money and they start building an organization. And remember, this is raw and uncut. And this is why we're coming together, because we're all leaders. But people get entitled and they just start thinking they deserve, or they should earn, or this should just be my income forever. And that's not the way of the profession. So I've got to constantly be reminded of, what is this profession giving me? Okay. And then hope that the reason I get it drives me to get more of it, or to get more things in it. Okay. And the second thing is, Andrea, do you see it glitching a little bit?
I don't, but
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll see. Hopefully my iPad is going to hang up here. Hold up. So
hold
the
up.
other question I have is, what do you want out of this profession this year? That's the other question. Like, what is the thing that I want out of this profession this year? Time freedom. Maybe you made $5,000 a month average last year. What is it this year? Have you got even the amount of money you made last year here? Have you even came up with that yet? Have you even wrote it down and to see how much money you made in this company in 2024? Challenge you to do that. You're a business owner. You're an organization runner. You got to know those figures. Okay. So those are two things I really want you to ponder, write down, and have in front of you. Okay. So that as we travel this year and I come in and I go, hey, Jamie, doctor, like, what is it you want this year out of this? Jamie can share. And I want to share with you why that's so important. So I've got to thinking about this in the last 2 weeks. Every year I do better some years than others, but every year I try to take the last 2 weeks of the year and really dive into Brent Palmer, dive into what I've done and what I could do better. Okay. Self-reflect. And one of the things that came across was, I got to share this with more people. And it is when someone says, hey, what do you do for a living? And here's something for you to think about. When you get asked that question, when I get asked that question, I reverse it into my story. How many times have you, maybe if you haven't, you will, if we're together a lot, you'll be like, somehow I work it into, I was a high school football coach and a principal, right? Andrea says, I get pulled over by the cops and I was somehow work it into my story, right? But it's creating common ground with people. Hey, what do you do for a living? And so if you will reverse it and go, I tell you what I'd like to do. I'd like to tell you why I do what I do. I was a high school football coach. I was a principal. I had 2 kids we took in. And you go into your little 2-minute story of why you are here doing what you're doing. Because people relate to the whys, to the story, right? Stories sell, facts tell. And so I challenge you to think about that. I challenge you to think about when somebody comes to Cynthia Bolden and says, Cynthia, what do you do? Do you say I'm a network marketer? Do you say, hey, there was times in my career I was like, I don't know. Like, and then as I got more confident, it's like, well, more importantly, let me tell you why I do what I do, right? And people can relate more to that, and it gets into more conversations than if I just say, I'm a football coach, I'm a principal, I'm a whatever, right? So, 2 questions. What is one thing you have received from this profession? And the second question is, what's one thing you want in 2025 from this profession? Okay. And we'll ponder that and talk about that a little bit later. Okay. All right. Next slide. I just want to put this up here. Okay. And I think this is so tonight, if I could encourage you, like you've got an organization, build for this event tonight. Most important thing you can do today. I always have an event I'm building for every day of my life, 7 days a week, every day of the year. There's always an event going on in my business that I'm building for. Go back and look at all the Facebook you want to under Brett Palmer. You got to have an event. Tonight, the event is our 2 founders of Partner Co. Starts at 6 p.m. Mountain. Okay. And that is the event that all day today I'd be pushing people to. All day today I would be, locking people in that's interested in the business but hasn't yet joined. Come listen to our founders. Come listen to what we're doing. Use it as a recruiting piece. And then tomorrow night, so after that call's over tonight, move to tomorrow's call and start building for that call, which is our North America kickoff of 2025, which will be highlighting all of North America, including Canada. Both events will be streamed in French and in Spanish, just so everybody knows. Okay. You're going to see more and more content coming out in Spanish simultaneously with our English versions. Okay. All right. So we've got that going on as far as building for events. So here's my topic today coming into 2025. Okay. Pan out where I can see everybody's face, Andrew. It's very important. Is 7 skills to crushing the business in 2025. But here's what I want to tell you, and I got to look at you. Cynthia Bolden, you've heard some of these over and over. Dr. Crystal Vance, you have heard some of these till you're blue in the face. Buffy Wallen, I have preached in your living room about these. Haley Lee has heard it over and over and over. Like I can go around the room. Janine, Olivia. What I'm going to share today, you already know, but what I'm going to share with you today will forever and always be the 7 skills that you need to be doing every single day, not only you, but inside of your organization to crush this profession. Don't let any marketer, don't let anyone try to tell you, oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. You can do it this way. You can do it that way. This industry is 100 years old. Okay. And there are rules, just like there are rules to basketball, and there's rules to football, and there's rules to insurance. There's rules to network marketing. And the rules never change. Here's what I find. What we're going to go through today is people get bored with the basics. They get bored with the skills that it takes every day to build. So when I get interviewed or I get talked about and they're like, Brent, how did you do this? Or you always seem so consistent at moving. I go through ups and downs and challenges and question myself. And I'm like, this person was on fire today and I can't even get them to answer my phone call tomorrow. Right? I go through the same things. But here's the thing. I will not drift from these 7 skills. I will do this and master this every single day of my life for network marketing. And so many people get bored with this. They're like, oh, it's got to be more spaz. I got to spruce it up. I got to do. No, if you do this, you can make $1 million in the industry a year. And if you get really good at this, you can explode your business. Okay. So that's the conversation we're going to have today. But it's all about mindset, right? I got to come into things with the right mindset. So what I'm telling you is what I'm going over with you, I have been over with myself personally. And I have opened me up and said, Brent, I'm going to come at you and I'm going to see what you're doing good at and what you're not doing good at. I'm going to give you 7 of them today. And over the last 2 weeks, I've dissected myself. To find the millionaire dream in our industry, you've got to be willing to just over and over dissect yourself, which means you've got to go into areas where you're not the smartest person in the room. You're not the one that everybody's listening to. And that's hard for people. It's hard to go in, but that's where you gain wisdom. That's where you gain the next layer of leadership. Because let me tell you where everybody's coming in 2025. Everybody on this call wants to grow to another level. And so if this is 2024, okay, and this is your level in 2024, the people that got you to this level will not be the people that take you to this level of 2025. It doesn't mean you leave your people. It doesn't mean they won't be here or they're going to quit. It just means there has to be another layer of people come on top. Okay? I always say this, if I'm still running around with Dr. Crystal Vance or Buffy Wallen 13 or 14 years later every day, I've done something wrong. There has to be a new group of people I'm running with, okay? And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be ups and downs, right, through the year, but in 2025, 2026, there's going to be a different level of people. In 2027, it's going to be ups and downs, but then you want to see a different level in 2027, different group of people. So that when you start looking at your business through the years, there's a lot of ups and downs. But at the end, from start to finish, over the course of 5 years, you are on a growth movement that is vertical. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to build the business, and then it's going to settle. And what do I mean by settle? People are going to get distracted. It's just reality of our profession. Okay? Like it would almost be like saying when you started 9th grade, that pool of people, did they just stay together all the way through your senior year? Or did you lose some people along the way? Unfortunately, we lose people to what? Death. We lose people to sickness. We lose people to whatever, it's life. So we get into this profession and we're going to settle. We're going to build a business and then it's going to settle. And then we've got to build it bigger. But the difference is between the settlement and the bigger build, you're climbing. Does that make sense? Put it in the comments if that makes sense what I'm trying to tell you. So mindset wise, you can't get frustrated when it settles as a leader. I hear it all the time. I don't have nobody to work with. Well, first of all, January the 1st, like listen, through the holidays, there's going to be some lulls. Okay. There's going to be some lulls. Doesn't have to be, but it's natural to be a distracted month or half a month. But people will get back on track. But here's the thing, the growth curve. So how do I make this move over and over and over again? I have to be a person that doesn't get bored with the basics. So I'm looking through here to everybody. I see Cynthia Murray on here. Okay. So I want to go to the first one, and I'm hoping to get some participation. And I'm going to let Tammy, if I could get you and Janelle and Christy Llewellyn. I'm going to call on some people, okay? They're like, oh my goodness, okay? And Ashley Paulson. If I could get y'all ready to queue up right here. Andrea, I want to pull up 7 skills to crushing, okay?
Wait, I missed a person.
Ashley Paulson, Tammy Mopby, Michelle McKay, Janelle Bunt, and Christy Llewellyn. And 7 skills right here. This will crush your 2025. You want to crush 2025? Do your daily method of operation where it's hitting these 7 skills and watch what happens to your business in 2025. It's going to go haywire. It's going to go crazy good. So here's the deal. Number 1, here's the first skill. Number 1, Andrea, could you screen share, please? Number 1, Tammy, could you read this for me? Finding prospects. Number 1. Could you read what that says, Tammy?
Actively and passively. Identifying potential customers or brand partners within your network to approach about the product or the business opportunity. Awesome.
Okay, thank you, Tammy. Tammy, so I'm going to go back out to everybody so we can see everybody. But Tammy, I want to ask you, so I'm going through my day, Monday through Sunday. The number 1 thing I've got to do is I've got to actively and passively find prospects.
Yes.
So give me an example. And Andrea, maybe we can highlight the people I asked to highlight if they don't mind. But Tammy, what's one way, like finding prospects? We've got this cool system. So what's one way we can do to find prospects?
Well, in what category? Active or passive?
Anyone you want to say. Just
Okay.
give me a way to find prospects. It doesn't matter. You're like everybody I just brought up is so good at prospecting people. And that's why I just but give me one way to prospect.
So certainly the one way to prospect is doing our posts at 9 and 3 every single day. It's working the system of growth. And I would call that a passive activity in our business. And can I say just one other thing about that, Brent? Because I think I know where you're going to go with this. But I think if we want to really make the money, like really hit your goals for 2025, and certainly we need to know what they are. So they should be written down and you should have them in front of you. But one of the things that I'm personally going to do this year is I'm going to actively start pursuing people like we did with Limu, Brent, when we
Okay,
came
you just said it. You just said it. Wait. Oh my goodness. You mean a names list? You mean actually actual is that not old school? Like that I would actually let me ask you a question. If we started up our own insurance business, Christy, do you think that I would make a names list? Like I would actually pursue the business owners in town and the people and I'm being ultra dramatic, but Tammy is a natural recruiter. So she's naturally, it doesn't mean she's throwing up on everybody, but she's going to church. And if she finds somebody, she's going to Walmart. She goes to Costco. and she hosts functions, but her meter is always out there looking for who would I want to do business with?
Yeah.
Oh, they're on
And
my
Brad,
list.
let
They're
me
on
say
my
one thing about that. Can I give an example of this that maybe will help people understand? Because one of the things that we're working with a lot in our teams is when people post 9 and 3, eventually your warm list starts to get smaller and smaller. And the way that they perceive it is this isn't working anymore. But when you understand that this business has several different ways of building, and one of the most important ones is personally speaking with people about the products and the business. It's as Brent Palmer calls it, belly to belly business. And one time he actually said belly button to belly button business, and I wasn't sure. I
that
was
just
like,
means
I
you
don't
got to
think
be
that's what you
closer.
mean, Brent.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and obviously we've got 7 of them, but I want everybody. Here's what I want you to think about as a leader. Give me the ways in this panel right here. Let's just come up with some, and I want you to think about this because your team needs this, like your leaders. But you have an organization out there that are they today on Tuesday, January the 2nd, are they actively and passively going to recruit people? Let me tell you, you get your organization firing and actively and passively recruiting people, you'll never spend all the money you're going to make in this profession. But we've got to get them moving in that direction. Like that's what matters. So number one, Tammy just said, I'm going to create a names list and go into active recruiting mode. The posting twice a day, that's passive recruiting. You're letting them come to you. Names list is you're going to them. Okay. And we'll go through the rest in a minute. So Ashley Paulson, give me one, if you will, because you're great at this. Give me another thing where all of us leaders can make a list of things so we can reflect and see if we're doing them.
So it kind of goes along with the names list, but like a memory jogger. So a lot of you know that I moved this year. And so on the memory jogger, it's like, who's your hairstylist? Who's right? Like, who are the people that you go to day to day? But like the memory jogger is great for me. Or like I said, if you've moved or that kind of thing, but also just kind of going through that memory jogger, your name list might just be like maybe someone that's on your chicken list, right? Like someone who's super, successful, kind of that chicken list too, but that memory jogger is a great way to kind of write down those names as well.
I
So
love that. And let me say this, Ashley, just the last 2 weeks, guess what I printed off? A memory jogger for Brent Palmer. Like, why would you not? Every 90 days, things change in people's life. So why would I not jog my own memory to go, oh my gosh, what about the barber down the street? I didn't think about it. Well, that's what the memory jogger's for. Imagine how many people on your team could benefit from creating a names list and a memory jogger and increasing recruiting ability. But you are the ones driving that organization, right? You're the ones that got to coach them to do it. And that's why we're doing this today. So Janelle, give me another one. And I know it'll get slimmer, but I mean, there's all kinds of ways, and there's not a wrong way to passively or actively recruit. But give us another idea, Janelle.
Well, I know you guys are all really good at this, but something that I find that is really effective, just like Tammy said and Ashley said, is truly caring about people, right? Like we're all doing that anyway. But when you take a moment and say, hey, I am so sorry. I saw that your mother passed, and I just want you to know I'm praying for your family. And then a month later, hey, I wanted to check in on your heart. How are you? Like and I know that might sound like, why, that's a business move, but everything that you do when you're a business owner is a business move, right? It just is, even if we don't want to talk about that. But what I find is that trust relationship, then they trust you as a person. They trust your integrity. They trust, and some of those people have become my top business partners throughout the last decade, and they've become my top friends. Like, so keeping those relationships alive is so powerful, even if they're not in your business right now or on your product. It's a powerful.
Janelle, you just nailed it. I love what you just said, caring.
Yeah.
And some people could go, okay, well, are you like that kind of, no, the world needs love. So there's a book I'm reading right now. It's called Neural Selling. I highly recommend it. It says, Mastering the Customer Conversion Using the Surprising Science of Decision Making. It's called Neuro Selling. I listen to it every day in the gym when I go at 5 a.m. So here's the thing with this. It's talking about we can flood people with knowledge and science about product or service or whatever we're selling, or we can start with why we're doing it and how we care for them, like adding value to the world. Dr. Crystal Vance, I think she's on here, but it's like, how do you want to grow? If you want to grow and excel, add value to the world around you. Money will always follow value. Okay, it'll always follow value. So if I'm loving and I'm caring and I'm supporting without any financial tie, it will turn to that. So I can go back to, without even bringing Tammy back. But Julie Park, Tammy wanted her in her business, but it happened down the road. But Tammy added value before Julie ever came, right? And then she came as a customer at the first. And she continued to add value to that customer rather than just going, oh, it's just a customer. Oh, it's just whatever. It's a customer. No, it materialized into a very productive brand partner because value. So great job, Janelle. So this is another one. So let's go to Christy.
Mhm. So I was just talking to a lady last week. I told Ernie, I'm shifting my mind. I am looking for the movers and shakers. I want to I want to look on Facebook and see people who want what I want, who want more out of life, maybe who want to help people, but also not necessarily have a business mind, because I think you can be taught that. I think you can be a customer first and then have money. But I'm not trying to be pickier because everybody can be a customer. But I am trying to prospect in a different way as far as people who want more out of life. I posted a thing yesterday that said, I'm not, it was kind of about age, and I'm not too old to make a change. I don't want to be stuck where I am. And so I have to not be afraid to prospect people who want more out of life because we have it to offer.
Christy, I want to bring that out, okay, what you just said, because it's super important. Do you realize you could today, I want to challenge you, go create a meme today on like meme meaning, what did you say, Christy? What you don't have to say this, but Christy, what did you just say? I want more out of life than what?
Yeah, I don't want to be stuck just because I just turned 50. I don't want to be stuck at 50. If I don't
Okay.
change it, it's not going to change.
Okay, we're looking for practical things you can do, and she just said it. I don't know if I even spell it. Is it meme? Something like that. Okay, a meme. I want more out of life at 50. Okay, I'm not going to write that in there. But remember this, I want more out of life at 50. Now, Christy could throw it out there and go, here's intentional prospecting. Christy could go out and put that meme and then go live life and never go back. But if she's intentional about prospecting, she's looking for every like, every comment, every like heart, like, and then like she might post it in several places, right, Tammy? Stories here, Instagram, boom, all over. Intentionally looking at that one meme post and go, what happens when somebody likes it or comments or makes a heart on it? Okay, then she pursues that person, meaning she reaches out to him in Messenger. Hey, remember, always add value up front. Hey, thank you so much for hearting my comment. Okay, what's that going to make that person do? Feel good. And she goes, look, I don't know if you're looking for what I'm looking for. And she starts a conversation intentionally. Okay, Again, we're in 7 skills to crush 2025. Finding prospects is the number one thing we should be doing. Like our business is about prospecting. Okay. I'm going to end with Michelle McKay. Christy, great job. That's something we all can do. We could create a meme today and intentionally prospect off of that meme. Michelle?
So what I've been doing, of course, it's kind of on the same line as value. I've been interviewing folks at 12 noon. I started back in Thanksgiving and got a little distracted and then got more intentional during this body balance and challenge. But just as an example, today I interviewed James and Natasha King. So, I mean, they're a power couple in Jackson, Mississippi. So I want to interview more people on my team, but also off of, other teams so that people see the value in what we have from other people. And so from that, I noticed the people that were watching the video today, just with James and Natasha, were different than the people I've interviewed in the last few days. So I encourage y'all to interview people outside of your team too that are successful. You're going to be bringing up more people on your feed than you have seen before, because my word for this year, other than resilience, is massive abundance. So if you want massive abundance, you got to go after it.
Michelle, thank you for that. Interviewing brand partners and customers. And if Andrea, thank you all for jumping on this little panel right here. Thank you. Thank you. Andrew, you can go back out. And here's what I'll tell you on this. So we're listing things that you can be teaching your team to do. But Michelle, going back to interviewing, she doesn't just interview to interview. She interviews and puts it out on social to see the response, like a comment, a heart. Then she pursues that person. So many times we're waiting for that person to completely pursue us and sign up in our business, or we could like turn it around and actually pursue them, right? I promise you, you will recruit more people if you actively pursue people. Okay. It's just natural. Like you will. Cynthia Murray, great example. I never see her. Another one. Like you might not, some of you might wear it, you might not, but she's always got a button on. Okay. And guess what? That button opens up conversations for her. So my point being here is to start the movement. Number one, I've got to find prospects and I got to teach my team to do the same thing. So coming out of the gate, brand new 2025, you got to get in the right mindset of, okay, the number one thing I got to be doing, no matter where I'm at or how big of a business I built, I got to be finding prospects. Okay. And again, remember what I told you. None of these that I'm about to tell you, you already know it. But we've got to be reminded over and over and over. So guess what that tells you? You have to remind your team over and over and over. It's kind of like going to football practice, Haley Lee, at Mississippi State, or softball practice. They're doing the basics every single day. People get bored with the basics and they got to be reminded that they've stopped doing them. Okay. So number two, here's the thing. I think we said a good thing here. Now, this other one is inviting. And so I want you to, let's change this one up a little bit. So Andrea, if I look at inviting, it's reaching out to prospects and initiating a conversation to gauge their interest in learning more. Okay. Reaching out to prospects. I'm inviting them to something. Okay. Now, I want to go back and see all of you because let's talk about it. And Andrea, if you can unmute, think about ways you can invite. Okay. Here's the thing. I can invite to the event tonight. That's one of my inviting tonight. Could I invite a potential? What if I had a leader that was disengaged at another place, or maybe their place had changed? How many of you have come from a home that made a change that made you like you were forced to have to look somewhere else? Don't you think tonight's event, if you found a person like that, you're like, listen, I want you to tune in and just hear. I want you to hear, okay, from the owners. just raw, uncut, them talking to the field. Like position it like, hey, they're going to be talking to their company tonight, their field. Listen to them so you can hear their heart, right? Actively invite people to that. I heard Ashley Polson say virtual drop talk. Okay. Ashley, real quick, if you could come back, just because I think we all could get an idea on this. Tell me what you would do at a virtual drop talk, just really quick.
So probably since about July of, well, last year now, I've been doing a virtual drop talk every Tuesday night, very consistent. Obviously with you having teams all over, it's a great way for people to plug their guests into. And so what I do is I create a Facebook event and I go live in that event. But what I do is I basically go over the slide deck, right? So you're live in the event, so you can't necessarily share your slides. But that's all I do is I just like verbally go over the slide deck. And that's every Tuesday night. So that's something that my team has always, like, they know that there's an event on Tuesday night that they can plug into. So consistency on that as well is very important. But another reason why I like the event as well is that they can go back and watch the replay right there in the event. I always say, if you're watching live, drop a 1. If you're watching it on replay, drop a 2. So then you see who is watching that event. So now you know who to follow up with. So just something that I've stayed consistent with. But like I said, it's been an incredible tool for the team too.
Ashley, I love that. And if you're going to do a virtual, you just got to be consistent with it. There's going to be some on more than other nights. Like, you just consistently do it. And over the course of the year, you go, wow, we've connected to this many people, right? But there's ups and downs every week in doing a weekly event. But a virtual drop talk, definitely, if you don't have that in your arsenal, add it. Here's another thing it will do. It will improve you on your presentation skill because you're having to do it over and over and over. So Ashley could do a PowerPoint presentation quick and easy because she does it every week, every week, every week, every week. Okay. In your arsenal. Remember, this is all about reflecting on yourself today. Okay. Now, another inviting is an in-person. Let's call it in-person drop talk. Okay. Or maybe you call it an in-person opportunity meeting, like whatever you call it. But the bottom line is you're getting together in person. Okay. The Destiny event, like, who are now I'm using big words like fly in, but who are you flying into that event? Right? Who are you taking a prospect flying in, or you driving in, or you're going to get them there as a guest? Do you think that way? Do you think that way? A millionaire person in this industry, the road to a millionaire or $1 million earner a year, they've got to find and locate guests at events. Okay. Andrea, you're unmuted. So let me know in the comments, what's some other ones? Give me some events, because again, hopefully all of us is going to reflect if we are doing this on a daily basis. Daily basis.
The IPA is something that we're inviting people to. I think you would talk about that.
IPA every morning at 9:15 Central. Remember, I always say this about any call, mine, anybody's. Numbers show value. You can never, like, numbers show value. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. If there was 2 people on, you'd know the value of this, right? It's just numbers show value. Now, anytime you start something, it's going to start low, and hopefully it's going to increase as you add value. The Coach's Corner in the morning started with like 5 people, I think. Now it's got over 100 just volunteer to get on every morning, all over same way with IPA Zoom. Yesterday we had over 700 people on it. So it doesn't matter. It's just numbers and stats. If the value's there, the numbers will show up. So, or start your own. So IPA Zoom is one.
Trainings, Super Saturdays.
I would always, on a Super Saturday, I would always have a presentation to start, right? Why? Because you want your organization to get really, really in tune to, we don't do anything without an opportunity presentation. We don't do anything without a 15 to 20-minute opportunity presentation, right? Why? Because that's the business, right? That is the business. Always having an ability to get a guest there in front of it to see the opportunity. Okay. I think that's enough. We could keep adding to that list, okay? But I want you to see the movement here. I'm going to move this 7 skills. I want you to see the movement here. We're moving across, right? Tim Sales would call this the pipeline. But what I'm here to tell you is the reason he always talks about the pipeline is because that is the only thing that matters in network marketing. If I don't prospect today, I can do all kinds of other things, Cynthia. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to grow my check. Okay. I'm just going to kind of spin my wheels. If I don't invite people to places, it doesn't matter. I can do the greatest videos in the world, but if I'm not inviting people to places, I will not scale my check. Okay. So somebody just asked, what's the invite to this? We'll get to that. Okay. Because it changes. There's no cookie cutter way to invite. Okay. Inviting is something that is different for everybody. But I would always, in inviting, is I call it drop the no barrier. Make it okay for them to say no. Meaning, if I was going to invite Haley to anything, I'd go, Haley, I just thought about you. We've actually got an event tonight that your name just keeps coming up my head, keeps coming up my head, keeps coming up my head. And I don't know if this is for you or not, but would you jump on for 15 or 20 minutes tonight? That's how I would invite. Do you see how I over complimented Haley? Like, how is Haley going to go, Brent, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard, right? No, I just complimented her 12 times. Mary Catherine, I thought about you. There was a lady the other day that reminded me of you. Tonight, she's actually going to speak on a call. And I don't know if it would interest you any whatsoever, but would you be one of my guests on that call? I just thought about you. I'd love for you to be on and see. That's how I would invite. When I'm like, if somebody's coming out of town to do an event for you, it would be like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Glenda, I have somebody driving like 4 hours away to do I'm going to have some food at my house. Would you please, could you come by and just hang out with us? It's a good group of people. You don't have to buy anything. Just come hang out with us. I'm dropping the no barrier, just making it easy for them and complimenting them the whole time. That's how I would invite. Okay. So I hope that helps. All right. Number 3, just tell me number 3. Well, you're going to show it. So I want to get through these 7. So I got to hurry. Presenting. We never have enough time. Presenting. Okay. Here's the thing on presenting: delivering a clear and compelling presentation about the product or business opportunity to potential customers or to distributors. Thank you, Andrea, for that. So here's what I would say about presenting. I would have a product presentation and I would have an opportunity. Now, product is opportunity, but I would have an opportunity presentation. Opportunity would be company owners, bill of rights, comp plan. Like that would be my opportunity, like company, product, comp plan. Product would be more like we do with the drop talk that's in boards. That's like, here's our transformation. Here's how you get started. But presenting like product and opportunity, you got to find all the places you can do that. Ashley said virtual, in person. Okay. But think about so if I were to ask you, okay, I hope you can see my direction of where I'm going. If I were to ask you today, do you think your people today are doing a really good job of finding prospects, inviting them to something every day, and presenting to them every day? That's for you. Like that's for Brenda Carlton to reflect on and go, no, they're waiting for me to show up. No, they're not. Like, so at the end of the day, the millionaire matrix is I've got to be doing these three. Okay. Number 4, the next one is once I give the presentation, I got to follow up. Like I would love for everybody to sign up on the spot, but it doesn't happen. So I've got to follow up with people. Okay. Now think about follow up. Read it, Andrea, what it says about follow up.
Sorry, I was muted. I was on the wrong screen. Maintaining consistent communication with prospects after initial contact to address concerns and nurture relationships.
Yeah. The number one way is to pick up the phone and call. Like that. I don't know how else to get past that. And Andrea, would you be willing to fall on the sword on this? On the call, like just over the years of me talking to people, like how many times have you heard me say to people, did you call them? Well, I talked to them and I'm like, did you call them? No, I did. It's like, no, the number one way like is to call. Can I text them? Absolutely. Is it as good as a phone call where they hear my voice? No. Okay. It's not. Follow up is not as effective in text. Okay, it'll work. I mean, but it'll decrease your percentage. A phone call, calling someone is always the best. I can video them, right? Now we have that capability. Video with a follow up. Voice message. Okay, think about this. Are you teaching this to your team on how to follow up? Do they know how to follow up with people? If not, then we're prospecting, we're inviting, we're presenting, but then we're losing people through the follow-up. Okay. So we got to get really good at the follow-up. Now, and you can think of some more, but again, this is moving them across. I mean, this is the 5, this is the 7 things. What's the 5th one? Closing. How many of you would be honest and say in the chats if you're like, I'm a good closer, I'm not a good closer? Here's what I'd tell you with closing. Have a 2x2 partner that's good at this. Okay. When I get ready to sign someone up, Mary Catherine, I'm going to give you an example, real life example. Mary Catherine Ewan started as a customer. Mary Catherine, who closed you into being a brand partner? She's my personal sign up. Who closed her? She's not looking at me. So she might be at work and can't answer. Andrea Rosser closed her. Andrea is really good at when you turn a prospect over to her and say, Andrea, she's ready to get started. And she's like, she'll take it from there and she will dissect the pack they need and how to go in and all of that. I share this with you because if you're weak in closing, partner with a good closer and learn their skill. Okay. Learn their skill. I'm better at closing today because I've listened to some of that. Okay. I wasn't very good at it. I would get them to the end, but it was always taking the credit card, was always, is anybody else out there? I'm like falling on the sword. Like we all have like struggles. Taking a credit card was a struggle. So I would hand off that to somebody that was stronger than me. And then over the years, I got better at it to where it's like, well, we take a credit card for everything, right? Like you can't buy groceries without it. So, but it was a struggle for me. Maybe it is you. So in closing, have a 2x2 partner. Okay. Have a 2x2 partner. And the other thing is we have to ask the question. Okay. I'm going to brag because we're running out of time. I'm going to brag on Robin DeMio. Robin, when I met Robin, I would watch her at an event and she would go around the room and sit down with the people with an application. And she would ask them, how would you like your name listed on here? Because I know you're going to join our team today, right? Like she had a way of closing the room. Like, and it was individual person by person by person. Like they didn't just end the event and be like, okay, everybody have a great day. See you tomorrow or see you next week. And everybody gets out of the room. It was like, no, we got them across this funnel all the way to here. We're not going to lose them here. We're going to close them and we're going to ask for the partnership. That's what we're asking for. Listen, I am so excited about the potential of working with you. Let's get you started tonight so me and you can work together. I want you on my team. Hey, Jason, will you do this with me? Like I'm in person, I'm extending my hand. Will you do this with me, Jason? Will you do this? Think about elementary school. Did you like to be picked to be on somebody's team? Yeah, nobody wants to be picked last. So when someone tells you, I want you, Jamie, on my team, does that make you feel good? Absolutely. So in closing, people, I want you. You're going to be a huge asset of our team. Like, let them know, compliment them, compliment them, compliment them. Watch how many join you. Okay. Now, closing this out, number 6. 7 ways to crush this. Number 6 is duplication. You've always got to be asking yourself this question. Okay. On duplication, it's not what works for Tammy. It's what she can duplicate to the masses. It's not what works for Dr. Crystal Vance because everybody's not Dr. Crystal. It's what, so here's what Crystal knows. I got to get it to the masses. Like, can the masses, I always ask myself, can the masses do what I'm doing? That's why when I show up for a drop talk, don't call me for a drop talk and expect me to be the founder, brand partner of the company. No, I'm going to do a drop talk. It's going to take me 15 minutes because that's what you asked me to come in and do. If you want me to come in and train on the comp plan, ask me to come in and train on the comp plan. Right? Does that make sense? I'm looking at Haley's like dead in the middle of my screen. So sorry, I keep saying your name, Haley, but does that make sense that you got to tell the person coming in what you want? Because I'm thinking, if you're calling me in to do a drop talk, then I got to do what's duplicatable. Now, if you're calling me in to do the comp plan, that's different. If you're calling me in to teach inviting skills, that's different. Tell me what you want me to come for. But if you tell me drop talk, then guess what I'm going to do? 15-minute drop talk. Why? Because it's more important to teach duplication than it is for me to try to create this elaborate sales pitch that nobody can duplicate. Okay? So think about that as you're thinking about duplication. Like, is your team right now? And there's a lot of times I look and I self-reflect and I go, Brent, we have left duplication. We're not duplicating. Andrea's like, we got to go. And then the last is teaching others. Okay? Teaching others. Like if you look at the definition, actively training, mentoring your team to develop their skills in all aspects. So guys, these are super Saturdays, super Sundays, like weekly trainings, virtual trainings, like any chance you get. How good are you teaching other people in your downline how to do these 7 things? And I know I kind of got a little scrappy. Go ahead and pan out, Andrea. So I know we didn't get all of these, but here's the bottom line. These 7 skills, these are the skills. Okay. If you can master these 7, you can build a monster business. Monster business. You got to stay consistent to it. And you're always going to have to backtrack, self-reflect, and go, am I moving people across this? Okay. Because to Tammy's point, at the closing, this is where I get the $29.95. But let me tell you, the $29.95 is just the start. Here's where I think sometimes we miss the ball. When we first started working the system, this is going to be important to stay with right here. I don't want to rush for this. If you got to leave, it's okay. When we first started the system with the drops, we were bringing people in on $29.95, a membership and a discount. We would have people start, if you ask Mary Catherine, she started with $29.95 and one box of drops. Last year, she made over $50,000 in the business. And she's probably personally brought in volume-wise, personally, thousands and thousands of points of volume. And she started with $29.95 and bought a $123 box of drops. But you know what we did with her during those first 4 Fridays? We built a relationship. Mary Catherine, can you come on, or you muted and not wanting to talk today? I'm just kidding.
I think she
She's
said
not
she was
laughing.
on a work call.
Okay. She's on a work call. I was kidding. All right. So here's the thing. In the first 4 Fridays, we built a relationship. She enrolled, and like 2 days later, she flew into the Destin event for the first time. Like, she didn't even know if we were even normal humans. She flew into the Destin event. So my point being is, sometimes I think that we enroll people $29.95 and they spend 1,500 points of volume, and we're over here celebrating that. And in 4 Fridays go by and we didn't build the relationship. We didn't get them posting twice a day. We didn't get them plugging in. And you know what that person is going to be good for in your business? 1,500 points. But what if we would have fostered a relationship in those 4 Fridays and taught them how to post and took their pictures and hugged on them when they were like, I'm scared to death to do this. It's okay. And we take time with that one person, and then we look up at the end of the year and they've earned $50,000 and they've generated thousands of points. Is 10,000 points better than 1,500 points? Yeah. Because see, when we first started, we did $29.95, and I didn't care how they come in, because in their first 4 Fridays, they were going to get 1,500 points of product. But I was going to foster the relationship in that 4 Fridays. It doesn't matter what they come in with. It matters. Listen, do you want the points? Yeah, you get paid on them, of course. But what matters the most is fostering the relationship in those 4 Fridays so that you can teach them and duplicate and teach them here and move them through this process. I'm going to end the day with this. Has this added value? Here's where I want to go today. Everybody wants to make a movement in 2025. It's there. It is there. You go, Brent, my business has slowed down. Do this every day. Watch what happens. Brent, my organization, some people have quit. Do this. Brent, I have a massive organization and they're so excited. Go teach them this. That's how big of a deal these 7 skills are. Go talk to any person that has made over $10 million in the industry and see what they tell you. When you say, tell me the skills it takes to achieve $1 million a year in this industry, tell me they don't do that. If you call Tim Sales up today, he's going to call it the pipeline.
Brent, we have a request real quick.
Absolutely.
Can you stand to the side so we can grab a screenshot of your board?
Absolutely. I'm sorry, we got a little fan at the end, but I wanted to get it. Like, I hope you can see this. It'll be in the recording. But guys, don't let anyone ever sell you anything other than this is how to create a monster business. But you can't get bored with it, and you can't just look at it and go, oh, I've heard that before. That's not the question. The question is how you are implementing this in your personal business and in your organization. Because today, I'm going to pick on somebody in a loving way, but today I should be able to look at Tanya Kelsey or Sheila Balkowski. And today, if they are like efficient in all this, then today I could check off Sheila. Absolutely, I found finding prospects in her organization today. They're doing that. Hey, they're inviting people. They got this lined up, this lined up, this lined up. They are presenting. My goodness, she has got so many great presenters on her team. It's unbelievable. Oh my goodness. They follow up like crazy. Like they sit down with people, they give them a thing. I'm witnessing this. It's incredible what the follow up. Oh my goodness, they're closing. They ask for it. They ask for the partnership. And Duplication, they have their system down. They onboard people. When they enroll, they get them onboarded. They get them this. Here's the presentation they do. It's like clockwork. And then they're teaching it with Super Saturdays and trainings. I see her doing all of this every single day in her organization. And when I can say that about you, money's going to fly. Money's going to fly. But if there's parts of this, there's excuses, or there's I'm not very good at this, or I don't like doing this, then that would be like saying I want to play football, but I don't like actually holding a football. I want to play softball, but I don't want to swing a bat. Teach me how to be successful. And it's like, I can't. Here, this is our profession, and this is the playing field that you got to do every day, and you can't get bored with it. And you've always got to be self-reflecting on how I'm doing it. And you know what? I'm good at some of them. I'm not good at some of them. That's okay. It's okay to need improvement. But this is the blueprint to that millionaire pathway. And that's why I wanted to go over it with you to start 2025. This is going to be a beautiful year for you. But equipping it, what I want it to be is when the year ends with this duplication and teaching others, your organization has gotten bigger and then it sticks. And then in 2026, you build it even bigger. We do that for 3, 4, 5 years. Watch what we create here with this beautiful company, with these beautiful products. And in the time we're in, it is really something special to be a part of. So guys, thanks for tuning in today. I hope this added value to you. I appreciate your partnership as always. I'll always tell you that. I love each and every one of you. I pray for you every day, and I want you to win here so bad. That's why I put this on. That's why I do this, because I want you. I believe in you, and I know you got what it takes to take it to the next level, and I know you will this year. Love you guys. God bless. Have a great day out there.